He said, "Welcome to the source."
Cadillac.
The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Hey, happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope you all had a lovely Monday night. And by that, I meant hopefully you didn't bet the New York Football Giants.
Or the Yankees or the Knicks or any other New York-based team.
Yeah, it was a rough New York night. I went 2-1 in the NBA, so I had a winning NBA night. But my big bet was the Giants +6, sprinkled the money line. I mean, looking back at how the game went, I mean, they were pretty evenly matched. Efficiency numbers were even. Yardage were even. Russell Wilson was better than Daniel Jones, but the Giants were running the ball better than the Steelers. It was a pretty evenly matched game. Punt return touchdown. Killed it, man. So looking back, I don't know if I would say I had it wrong. I think my handicap of the game was pretty on, except there's something to be said about just being a bad football team that doesn't show up in spreadsheets. Where it's like you look at the Giants and Steelers and you're like, okay, the Giants should not be catching 6 from the Steelers. It should be about 3. Because if you look at just who was moving the ball, yeah, that was a field goal game, but the penalties, but the special teams, there's other things that come into play where the Giants are a bad football team and the Steelers are a better coach team. So on that front, maybe I missed a little bit of that. Whatever. Don't regret the bet. Was in it to the end. It was a fun watch. But let's get into the World Series. Oh, thank you everyone for the kind words on 100,000 subscribers. I'm not really a milestone guy, especially for subscriber count, because it's the most meaningless number on YouTube. It's just it's a cosmetic number.
It's famous for roasting people for celebrating YouTube.
Just you, Matt. That's just you. No, it's just a cosmetic number. It doesn't matter who clicks subscribe. It's the only two things that matter: click-through rate, view duration. Do people click on your stuff? Do people watch your stuff? Think about social media. When you open up your social media, you don't see things you're subscribed to or you're following. You see the same things that you're watching. That's why if you accidentally watch a political video, your feed will be flooded by... It's not because you're following those political things, because that's what you watch. So viewership and click-through rate is the way to go. But all jokes aside, thank you for the congratulatory words. Anyway, World Series.
It has to feel a little good to see 100K next to your name. I mean,
yeah,
being honest.
I got a silver YouTube trophy for you, Toast. I got to mail it up to the Arctic shelf where you fucking live. But
the ring straight.
But yeah, I had a conversation with YouTube. They asked how many of my staff, so everyone gets one. I didn't know how to.
For real?
Yeah, you get one. Prop Beaver get one. Even Andy is getting one. So yeah, I don't know how long it takes to come, but yeah.
That red-headed rat.
All right, so Dodgers, Yankees. Toast, if you're about to take the Dodgers, if you're about to take the Yankees,
get help. Call the number.
All right, good. Dodgers up.
Just letting everybody know. So I didn't play the Dodgers straight up on a money line. I played my biggest bet is Dodgers team total over 3.5. But I also played both the overs. First 5 over 4.5, over 8.5. I definitely think we see some runs here today. So let's just start it. We'll start with Luis Gil. Again, I don't really have anything bad to say about him. I mean, he was rookie of the year possibility this year. Again, if you look at his last 7 starts, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Oakland, Seattle, Kansas City, the Cubs, Cleveland. I mean, not exactly murderer's row. So very similar to what we talked about yesterday with Clark Schmidt. Just has really good numbers. I mean, but at the same time, the talent of the competition has been extremely low, and this Dodgers offense is absolutely rolling. Obviously, last night wasn't anything crazy, only scoring 4 runs, and 2 of them off that Freddie Freeman home run in the first inning. But at the same time, they had a lot of chances, 2 on, bases loaded, a couple guys 2 on with a couple times, bases loaded 1 time. They definitely had their chances. So 1 hit could have had 6 or 7 runs for the Dodgers last night. So I definitely think the Dodgers are going to be able to score some runs like they have been all postseason. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've scored 4 runs or more in every single postseason game they've played. Don't quote me on that, but I'm like 98% sure. And then as far as the Yankees are concerned, this is the type where the bet might go sideways if the Yankees continue to not show up. I mean, they haven't showed up. They're obviously all 3 games of this series after scoring 5 runs or more against Cleveland. Every game of that series. But at the same time, if you take a look at what the Dodgers are going to be going with today, Kopech, 3 of the last 4. Banda, 3 of the last 4. Vesia, 3 of the last 4. He only had 1 pitch in there in one of those games, so not too much. But the Yankees have now seen this Dodgers pitching staff multiple times, all of them at least 3 times or more, besides Evan Phillips. And then the guys like Brent Honeywell or London Knack or Gratterall, they're not going to use Gratterall probably early, but I have a hard time believing after we saw what would happen in game 2 or 3, whatever it did against the Mets with Kopech, or maybe it was later than that. But regardless, when he started that game and he didn't look great and ended up loading the bases and ended up getting out of it, I don't think you see Kopech early. I think you see Honeywell get most of it. Maybe you see a little bit of London Knack. But I think that if the Yankees are to score early, which I think they have a possibility of, and I know that sounds stupid after what they've looked like, but I do think that seeing all these guys multiple times gives them a little bit of an advantage, just put some runs on the board. And if they do put some runs on the board early, you could see Dave Roberts kind of punting this game away. No reason to use Kopech, Phillips, Banda, all those guys in the back end if you're already down 3 or 4 runs and you have a 3-game lead in the series. So they have Jack Flaherty, they have Yamamoto coming up to pitch as well. So again, I just think that we see some runs here today. Both offenses, have proven themselves to be good. Obviously, the Yankees not so much the last week or so in this series, but it's kind of now or never. I hated the pitching matchup for them yesterday. That's why I was all over the Dodgers. I can't state how good Walker Buehler is, not only in the World Series and postseason, but when he pitches in cold weather. It's just a different type of pitch from you seeing. Not to mention the fact that he completely changed his pitch arsenal yesterday. It was very, very impressive. But regardless, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell you can bet the Yankees at that price. There's absolutely no chance in hell you can bet the Yankees at that price. So if you feel like the Yankees are going to win in your heart of hearts, I would play that team total or anything, because the last thing that you want is the Yankees to roll out there. It's not that the Yankees bullpen is in great shape either. Obviously Cousins has been really, really good for them. He's 3 of the last 4 days. Mark Leiter Jr. has been pretty good for them this postseason. He's 2 of the last 3. Dodgers just saw Weaver as well. So again, the Yankees are really kind of out of options as well. So that's why there's no chance in hell I play them. But I'm all over the Dodgers today. I do have a whole bunch of props posted in the Discord on the website as well.
Yeah, I said when the series started, I actually said before the series that I was going to be taking the NL team every game before we even knew it was Dodgers Yankees. And I said when this series started, I'll be taking the Dodgers every single game. I said Dodgers in 4, but on full disclosure, I said that sarcastically. Didn't expect it to actually happen. Looks like it actually has a chance to. Obviously the Yankees in Yankee Stadium with their season on the line. Could they win this one? Of course. But I'm sticking to my guns here. I said that every single NL playoff team was better than every single AL playoff team. And whoever the World Series, bet the NL every single game. I've been saying that. Dodgers, I picked the Dodgers every single game so far, not abandoning ship now. Dodgers up.
Love to see it.
Moda said he has leans for us.
Oh, what's up? I'd love a good lean.
I didn't bet anything because I just haven't spent as much time with MLB. But one thing that I liked was just Teoscar Hernandez. If you want to be spicy, take him to hit a home run. It's pretty good odds. So his last at bat yesterday, pop out 77 miles per hour. The last 7 at bats prior to that, 95.5 exit velocity, 108.1 miles per hour exit velocity, 370-foot home run, 108.2 single, 99.3 line out, 102.9 fly out, 105.6, that was a single, and then 107.9, 392-foot home run. I'd like him a lot better if he was facing a left-handed starting pitcher, which is why you could, if you would just wanted to be safer and take 2+ bases. That earlier when I checked, it was plus 160 at Fanatics. I'm not sure what the updated price is. It's not great home run weather. It's like a little chilly in New York. So either that, like I said, if you want to be safe, take the bases. But it's not necessarily a place I think he's like heel sucks or anything like that. Again, I'd much rather him play against a righty, but someone that's just been smashing the baseball the way he is. I'll bet on that guy plus 160 for 2+ or a dong. That I didn't even check the odds on that, but it's basically just betting on someone that's just been smashing the baseball.
Was that Teoscar or Kike?
Teoscar.
All right. Let's talk some NBA basketball. Toast, I'll talk to you later.
Good night, guys.
All right, so we're gonna bring Chris on for some NBA. Modi sticking with us too. We got just 4 games on the board. I do have 2 bets open. I'm still actually. I'll show you guys later. Got a lot of work done on this year's NBA spreadsheets last night. I was up late. They're coming out pretty cool. Still probably about a week or 2 away from finishing them, but I had a breakthrough last night and I got a lot done. So I'm kind of liking the way that they're coming out. This is one of the game I have a bet on. I laid 5 with Minnesota. This is the absolute worst spot ever for Dallas. I mean, 3rd game in 3 nights with a flight from Dallas all the way up to Minnesota. I mean, it sucks. It's a real bad spot.
Not 3rd and 3, Kyle. Because
3rd and 4, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, we knew what you meant.
We played 3 games in 3 nights. Oh, I've never heard that spot before. I'm hammering.
And I'm a little worried. What have we seen from Minnesota so far? Because I think we all agree so far Minnesota hasn't really looked like the team we're expecting them to be this year. We're only 3 games in. Rebounding, weirdly down. They actually lost the rebounding battle in back-to-back games, the Timberwolves. But they're going up against a Dallas team that has lost the rebounding battle in all 3 of their games so far. So I expect Minnesota to be rested in this one at home, control things on the glass. Like I said, terrible spot for Dallas. I'm on the T-Wolves here. Either you guys? By the way, Minnesota's in 2 of their 3 games has held opponents to under 35% shooting from outside. Dallas is a team that likes to take a lot of three-point shots. They've actually taken 35 or more three-point attempts in all 3 of their games. So on the road in Minnesota in a bad spot against the Timberwolves perimeter defense that's been pretty good. I think it's a solid matchup too. I'm a little worried that I took it last night at -5. I would have bet that this would probably be at 6.5 now by this time, and it's not. It's still sitting there at 5. So that would be indicative of action coming in on the other side, keeping this market balanced. I think Minnesota's the play. Personally, I did bet it.
I do have I have 4 bets tonight. This is one that is an official one. It's Anthony Edwards over 6.5 first quarter points. I got it at -125 at bet 365. I got into the first quarter market at the end of last season, and it was one of my highest ROI markets. This is my first one of this year. Just trying to figure out who are going to be the first quarter guys. Ant was a first quarter guy last year in terms of points. It's been slow this year. He's only hit it in 1 of his 3 games, but you have to look like at the deeper metrics. What I like is the fact that both times he went under, he had exactly 6 points, which I get, like, as the numbers get lower, you're going to get hooked more frequently. But he's averaging over 10.5 minutes per game in the first quarter. He played all 12 in their opening night against the Lakers. I would guess that if he's ever going to play the whole first quarter, it would be in a rematch against the Mavericks Western Conference Finals rematch. And he's averaging 4 3-point attempts in the first quarter as well. I will admit part of this is a narrative play. Edwards cashed it 4 or 5 games in the playoffs against the Mavericks. He cashed in all 3 regular season games against the Mavericks. And you just know that he's going to want to come out firing because that's what he did in the playoffs, and he kind of got gassed as the game went on. So yeah, the Ant first quarter points. Again, it's one of my 4 bets that I locked in tonight, and it's definitely one of my favorites.
Ant first quarter. I remember when you were hitting those first quarter. Jaylen Brown first quarter, you must have hit that like 5 times in a row. I remember that last year.
Yeah.
Chris?
It was Embiid too. I feel like it was Embiid.
Embiid too. Yeah.
Embiid was one.
I remember that. You was going crazy.
I remember that too. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't bet this one, Kyle, but I'm with you. It's only Minnesota in this spot. It's a bad spot for Dallas, like you said. The other thing is Luka hasn't looked like himself. He had a Utah Jazz defense last night where he shot 5 for 19. Now you got a Minnesota team that's super motivated, based off the losing in the Western Conference Finals, like you said, rested team versus the Denver team playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. The reason why I didn't get there, Kyle, is because I want to see a little bit more continuity out of the Minnesota Timberwolves before. And I made this point on my show earlier. I was like, Julius Randle probably don't care about this game as much as the other Timberwolves do. It'd be different if they had Karl-Anthony Towns. And somebody DM'd me on Twitter and was like, Chris, Julius Randle's from Dallas. He doesn't like that team. I was like, oh, you're right. I forgot about that. But I kind of want to see the pieces before. If Dallas somehow covers the first half, I'll play Minnesota live here. But I definitely think you're on the right side. I also lean under, Kyle. This was at 224.5. It's come down. The Dallas team total under, like you said, second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights seems to make a lot of sense. If we get a motivational spot for Minnesota all season, it'll be here. And I do think that their defense is still going to be better than their offense. So team total under for the Dallas Mavericks, or the full game under, I think, is also in play here.
So under, or Dallas team total under. Someone said in the comments, Dallas ATS is road dogs. They're 14, 13, and 1 last year, so just about 500. The trend you might be thinking of, though, Dallas was actually the best team in the NBA against the number on 0 days rest last year. So that's probably what you're thinking of. Let me pull it up. Yeah, 11-3 against the spread last year on 0 days rest. So I just talked about how it's a terrible spot for Dallas. They were the team that was the best in the NBA in these spots last year. Personally, those trends, I like the trends, and in season, obviously we're always talking about them. I place bets based off them. In my opinion, they're not really the type of things that carry season over season. I mean, 2 years ago, Golden State at home was an auto bet. Then last year, fade them at home, and they were great on the road. So, I don't know if those are the type of things that carry over season to season. Personally, it wasn't enough to scare me off. I did bet this Minnesota -5.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise in trends. I'd be very, very careful with Jesus. This guy in the comments
I'm
really
muting
wants
him
to.
now. I don't even know what he's talking about. The algorithm Google Sheets. What the hell are you?
You know the algorithm Google Sheets.
Yeah.
You don't know the algorithm.
Yeah,
Google.
you're right. I'm holding the algorithm Google Sheets hostage. And if you spam the chat, I'll surrender them. All right, let's move on to the next game. Denver, Brooklyn. I didn't bet this one. I had a look I kind of liked. Market's against it, though. Market seems to like the over, or is pushing the number up a little bit. I think it's up to 219 and a half. When I talked about this game, I didn't talk about it. We were talking about it in the Discord. Last night when I was looking at this game, I thought it was an under game. Both of these teams have played relatively slow paces. The only time we've seen Denver play a fast pace was last night in the Toronto game, and that's because the Raptors are all they do is sprint. They can drive anyone into a faster paced game. If your team your opponent is sprinting on every possession, it tends to lead you into sprinting as well. So the Raptors kind of goaded Denver into a fast-paced game. We know that's not who they are. They want to play half-court basketball. That's when they're their best, when the pace is slow and they can set up their offense in the half court. In the 2 games before the Toronto game, they ran slow pace, Denver. And kind of the same thing for the Nets. Other than the Atlanta game in the opener, the Hawks kind of a fast-paced team. They were kind of goaded into a fast-paced game. The Nets have run a slower pace than their last 2. So I'm expecting a slow pace here, and we're talking about 2 teams that are struggling offensively. I mean, the Nets offense is solely reliant on Cam Thomas shots falling. And if Cam Thomas, who's, by the way, a very streaky shooter, sometimes he can't miss, and then there's other times he can't hit. And when Cam Thomas shots aren't falling, this is not a good offensive basketball team. And I know how we talked about how the Nuggets don't look right so far, right? And it doesn't take a NBA analyst to figure out that the Nuggets don't look 100% correct so far this season. Well, actually, defensively, they don't look all that bad. They're playing good defense on the perimeter. 2 of their 3 games were solid defensive performances with good defensive ratings. So it's not really the Nuggets defense that's not pulling their weight. They're struggling offensively, and kind of same goes for the Nets. They played some decent defense. They played good defense in that Bucks game. So, yeah, I think a slower pace with 2 offenses I don't trust. It should stay under. That being said, I didn't bet it, and it's moving the other way. So the market's against me.
Yeah, for this one, I just had a lean. I didn't actually bet it myself. It's a pretty gross Julian Strawther over 6.5 points. It was -115 earlier. It's -120 now. If you're betting it, I would still take it there. Again, I didn't actually bet this one myself. This is just a play on like the Nuggets trying to get one of their young guys to pop. Christian Brown has been really good. His point total is the books are kind of catching up to that. Like it's been at 9.5 for like plus money. Now you're paying minus money to get over 10.5. And the Nuggets just need one of these guys to pop, and they're giving them every chance. Like between Brown, Strawther, and Peyton Watson. Like Strawther's been decent. He's getting like 15 to 20. I think last game he played like a little over 20 minutes. He scored 9 points. Granted, that was on going 3 of 3 from the field, which you can't always count on, which is why I ended up not playing this. But if it turns into a blowout, like which we've been waiting for Denver to put a game together, they should have lost last night and they didn't. So like if this game ends up being close and Strawther's probably going to get that 15 minutes, and you just have to hope that he just shoots 3 or 4 from the field again. But yeah, that like at the beginning of the season, you can kind of find value on these nasty guys that the books aren't quite like catching up with. Like Pritchard, I didn't bet him last night, but like he's gone off in every single game, and his price is staying roughly the same. So Schrader's kind of one of those guys.
Okay. Chris?
I did bet this one. I bet it last night. As soon as Denver game went to overtime, I was like, second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. And they're coming
What number did you get?
Plus 6.5.
Okay. CLV King.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Kyle. Nobody wants to be the CLV
No
King.
one wants to be the CLV King.
Absolutely not.
It's a thankless job.
It is. It's worse than those numbers you were talking about, the subscriber count on YouTube earlier.
Yeah,
but
meaningless.
So meaningless. It's a play against Denver here. Like Kyle said, the offense does not look great at all. They're 0-3 against the numbers so far. I actually backed Denver yesterday. Like I backed them first quarter, like super desperation spot. Like, you know, I chucked up the first 2 losses to a good OKC team and a good Clipper team. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a big step down in competition. They couldn't even win the first quarter or first half. And as Moda said, they had to fight even to get to overtime. So I think they were down 10 points in the fourth quarter. So yeah, I'm playing against all that. Denver was 12-19-1 against the spread last season as a road favorite. 5-8 against the spread playing unrested last season, 38.5%. And last 2 seasons, 11-21 and 11-23-1 against the spread when they were laying 4 or more on the road. This is not a team that just wins by margin on the road. And then this was the one that took it over the top. Unrested road favorites coming off an overtime game within the first 5 games of the season. 2-6 straight up, 0-8 against the spread. I think that's why we see the money coming in. People probably researched it, found the same trend, and you know all the money coming in on Brooklyn because of that. And I'm just kidding, but yeah, I'll take it. I know that Ben Simmons is out, which could be addition by subtraction. I looked at the numbers with him on the floor. They're minus 25.1 in points scored per 100 possessions with Ben Simmons on the floor.
Jesus.
With him off the floor, they're plus
I'm shocked.
24.5.
Shocked.
I bet the Nets in the opener against the Hawks, and we were all watching it. It was the second day of the season, but it was the opener for the Nets, and we were watching that game, and Ben Simmons came on, and I hit the Discord. I was like, guys, Ben Simmons is in the game, and he was on the floor for, I want to say like a minute 40 before he missed an open layup, and I was like, oh shit, like who was I for even having hope that he was going to come out and play differently? Now the Nets did cover that, so thanks to some Cam Thomas circus 3-point shots at the end there, but he missed an open layup, a lefty layup, like right as soon as he got on the court. So same old Ben.
Oh, he's
Simmons.
right. He's right-handed. So.
Oh, is he? I thought he was lefty.
No, it's a joke. It's a running joke that he's.
Okay, that he's shooting with the wrong hand. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Your Philly humor, Matt. Can't keep up with it.
So witty.
so witty that Matt. So next up, Sacramento, Utah. This is my number 1 pass on the board. I passed on the last one too, but I kind of like that under. Just didn't bet it. I mean, I think what I wrote in my website post last night was over or pass at 233.5. It's moved up a point. My opinion, in theory, this final score should be 128, 126. It should go way over. Sacramento last year liked to shoot a lot of threes. Utah can't defend the 3-point line to save their lives. They also can't stop the fast break. I expect the Kings to get out in transition. Sacramento also not looking the most stout defensively. We know Utah's capable of scoring points at home. It would only be over for me here, but the number was super high, and now it's even moved up another point. So I stayed off of it. I don't like to make a point of fading. Oh, the graphic's wrong, right? It's supposed to say minus 6.5 for the
Kings are
game.
favorites. Yeah, my bad.
No worries. So yeah, I don't like to make it a point of fading the Jazz at home because they tend to cover. I think they were 24-17 against the number at home last year, one of the best in the NBA. So I'd just be over or pass here. I don't even want to talk about this game. I have a bet in the next one.
So yeah, I have one on this one. De'Aaron Fox over, it's 7+ assists. This one admittedly moved against me like over the course of the day. I locked it in at plus 145. At one point, it got as high as plus 190, which was crazy and did not make me feel good. Now it's gone back down to plus 150, so it's kind of stabilized. This is just I guess almost a system play against the Jazz. Like last year, they allowed the number 1 most assists to point guards, the number 1 most assists just overall, and per props.cash were the best matchup for point guard assist props. So it's like the books like even as bad as they were at allowing point guard assists, like the books never priced it high enough where the over wasn't a play. And look at what teams have done against the Jazz this year. John Morant, first game of the year, 10 assists in 28 minutes. Same game, backup point guard Scottie Pippen Jr., 7 assists in 22 minutes. Next game against Golden State, nobody on that team had more than 6 assists, which was Buddy Hield, but they had, as a team, 35 assists overall. It was just like spread between like 10 different players, which was crazy. Overall, they had 35 assists, and last year, the Jazz, who allowed the most assists per game, allowed 29.8, so it was like above that average. And then last night, Kyrie had 9. His over-under was like 5.5. And Luka, who's been slow from an assist department this year, he had 8, and he hit his under on the assist prop. I know that because I was on his over. But 17 combined between those two. The play is like high usage guards that can drive, can rack up a ton of assists against the Jazz because they just are super aggressive sending help. Like they've allowed the most catch and shoot 3-pointers, the second most corner 3-pointers, and it's all because of how they play defense. And De'Aaron Fox, like he missed it last night, his assist prop. First 2 games averaged 10.5 assists per game on 15.5 potential assists, 11.5 adjusted assists. So I think this is an awesome look. I don't really like those of you that use Fliff, you can get over 5.5 at -115. No other book is even giving you close to that, which is why I'm giving out the 7+ number. But I think that's like worth a full unit on the 5.5 at -115 for those Fliff users. But yeah, I mean, I thought this is again, like this and the Anthony Edwards ones are my 2 favorite plays that I have on the board.
So De'Aaron Fox, 7+ assists, +170, +175. Chris, anything here?
I was hoping, Cal, we could talk out that total, like you said, but I guess your sentiments are very close to mine. I really wanted to get there with over. It feels like an over game. In my notes, I wrote, of course, both teams on a back-to-back. Jazz unrested last season. Home games averaged 246 points across 4 games. They were 3-1 to the over there. Sacramento ranks bottom 5 in opponent points scored per 100 possessions, opponent effective field goal percentage. They also rank bottom 3 at defending the 3-point line. Both of these teams are terrible at defending the 3-point line. Not just the Utah Jazz, which we know are historically bad, like for like 3 seasons in a row now. But going into last night, both of these teams were top 6 in pace, is what I wrote down. Since 2018, when 2 unrested teams face off in the first 5 games of the season, they're 12-7-1 to the over as well. However, here's where I got a little conflictual. The Kings were 10-5 to the under last season when they were playing unrested. They were 6-1 to the under when they were playing unrested and on the road. And those games were staying under by an average of 16.5 points. The Utah Jazz ranked dead last in offensive points scored per 100 possessions and effective field goal percentage through the first 3 games. So if they somehow like ran out of gas here in the fourth quarter, that would not surprise me at all. So I stayed off the total too. Who put up that? No, take that over off. I did not play over. I stayed off the total because I could make a side for both. But yeah, 234 is a lot, Cal. I'm with you. It should go over, but I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I want to get in and get out with Sacramento. First half, maybe 2.5. I feel like the altitude always catches up in the second half and potential backdoor cover here. I think this is a 4th and 6th nights for Sacramento as well.
Yeah, we saw Memphis fade here in Utah in the opener. Then again, we saw Memphis fade last night as well. Holy shit. Just completely gave that one away. But all right, let's get on to the last game, and I have a bet on it. And apparently I'm the most square dude in the world because I have the Pelicans at -2.5. What? I grabbed, the line was 3, and I saw 1 2.5 out there. So I went and grabbed it. And then I wake up in the morning and everywhere's down at 1.5. I get it. No Steph Curry. Maybe everyone's going to be flooding in on the New Orleans side, but I know, like, the first game without the star player, yeah, I know, like, there's value. Everyone else gets up. Like, I know. I've talked about it before. But I kind of like the matchup here for the Pelicans. The Pelicans offense is struggling. Not going to hear me debate that. On the road in Golden State, it's a tough place to score. So I get how you would have concerns about the Pelicans offensively in this game. But what the Pelicans have done a good job of this year, forcing turnovers. They're forcing turnovers 19.4%, 19.6%, 16.5% in their first 3 games. Those are very good numbers. The best in the league will be about 15%. So they're forcing turnovers at a very high rate so far. That's been the Achilles heel of the Golden State Warriors offense for several years now. They always turn the ball over. And especially without Steph Curry, who's obviously their primary ball handler, think the Pelicans are be able to rip turnovers in this game. You might be thinking, oh, well, Kyle, they forced a lot of turnovers because they played Portland twice. Golden State might be worse than Portland in terms of turning the ball over. I mean, there was a couple, like 2 years ago, I think it was pretty sure the year they won the championship, they were dead last in turnover rate. That's Golden State's thing. They struggle to protect the basketball. Last game against the Clippers, 20.2% turnover rate, the Warriors offensively, which is terrible. So I like that for the Pelicans. Think they're going to be able to force turnovers against a Golden State offense, obviously missing its most important player. Also, there was one bad game. Their last game against Portland shot 40% from three against them. In their first 2 games, they did a good job defensively on the perimeter. We know Golden State likes to shoot a lot of threes. So I like the matchup for New Orleans. I also like how they're coming off an ugly loss in Portland. I think they get this one, but I got a -2.5, so it moved against me. I guess there's some action coming in on the other side, but I think the Pelicans win this one, and I think I'm on the right side here. Gentlemen,
You're muted, Moda.
My bad. I was typing, and I don't want to break everybody's eardrums when I was typing. Yeah, I don't really understand that line movement either. I don't play a ton of main lines. Like, I'm admittedly not coming from a huge place of knowledge, but when have the Warriors won anything without Steph Curry, let alone like missing D'Anthony Melton and possibly Andrew Wiggins as well? Anyways, the play that I had for this one was Brandon Ingram. I got 20 plus points at plus 105. Right now, you can get plus 104 at Bet Rivers. If anybody uses that stupid sportsbook, you can get it there. If you can't, then the next best offer price is -106 at Caesars. This is kind of just a spot play on Brandon Ingram as opposed to really loving the matchup. He cashed it in like this 20 plus point number in the first 2 games, 33 points against the Bulls, 21 against the Blazers. And then he missed it in his last game. That was one of those weird ones where like they played the same team in back-to-back games. I never know how to play those. But he hasn't shot well, so he is due for some positive regression just from a shooting perspective. 8 of 22 games ago, 7 of 17 last game. I also don't love the matchup for Zion Williamson. Like his last game against the Warriors, he admittedly played well, scored 26 points, but the last 4 times he had played them and since the 2022 season, he did not score above 20 points. And Draymond specifically guards him well. He doesn't guard him every single possession, but when he guards him, Draymond scored 2 points against him last year in 2 games, went 1 of 4 from the field. The last time he played him was like a couple years ago, but didn't score a point against Draymond. Again, he's not the primary defender, but when he guards him well. And then like CJ McCollum went off last game, 27 points maybe isn't necessarily going off, but he played well last game, shot well. So this is kind of more so just a spot play on Brandon Ingram, buying low on him after a down game last game, and also not really trusting McCollum or Zion to get the points. So I just kind of feel as though that goes to Brandon Ingram. But I will say it's a play that I officially gave out on my own channel, but I wouldn't say that I'm super passionate about it.
Chris, what are your thoughts? I mean, you got to think as far as the quote unquote public action goes, it's all coming in on the New Orleans side. I mean, who's taking the Warriors on this short line without Steph Curry and Wiggins? So no question, I'm on the super square side. I mean, I've cashed a lot of bets on the super square side. It's not exactly something I love to do, but I'm not scared of it. A little scared that they dropped the line, though. What are your thoughts on the movement?
I don't understand it. I'm right there with you. I think so Wiggins is officially ruled out too. Like that, I think that just came in.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
He just got ruled out. I think if anything, if you like Golden State, like probably I would just play a player prop. Something like Jonathan Kuminga. I think he's hit in 6 of the 8 games without Steph Curry. I think his points prop like 19.5 and no Wiggins. Like I think he has probably the best game. Like he's gonna probably go attack the rim. I didn't play him either, but he's probably gonna attack the rim, especially with them not having like a true center and Daniel Tice out there. But I played in correlation with your play, Kyle. I played Golden State team total under 108.5. I mean, it just makes too much sense not to. You got a Pelicans team that's I'll start by saying this. There's a rematch tomorrow between the same 2 teams. Like these 2 teams play again tomorrow. So I want to mention that. But you got a Pelicans team where I would be a little bit more, like I would be a little less comfortable backing the Pelicans in their defense in this spot, Kyle, if they were like coming off like a big win against the Portland Trailblazers. They actually got smoked by Portland. Yeah. They lost that game by 22 as a 6-point favorite the other day. And when I was looking into it, Golden State, they've played 175 possessions with Steph Curry so far this season. And we got to remember, the first couple games were against the Cupcakes. Like they beat Portland and they beat Utah. Then they got the Clippers and things weren't looking so good. In those 175 possessions with Steph, 127 127 points scored per 100 possessions. 95.7 though without Steph.
That's crazy.
95.7.
So on, it goes 95.7 to what? 127 with him?
127 across 175 possessions with Steph Curry on the floor.
That would be the best offense in the NBA versus the worst offense in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
crazy.
I think we see a big drop today. But I do think Golden State's going to be feisty. Like they can slow down this Pelicans offense. You just take them off the 3-point line. New Orleans is they're going to be without DeJounte Murray for some time, and Trey Murphy is still not there. So I do think that defensively they'll be good. You put Herb Jones on. I don't even know who is going to be the main guy for Golden State today.
Kuminga,
Pods,
Kuminga and Podziemski. You just throw Herb Jones on one of those guys and play some defense. I don't think they get to 109 though, Kyle. So I bet it. I think it's still there. I bet it at BetMGM, no juice, like -110. So we both gonna look like idiots, or we both look like squares, and I'm cool as long as we can.
I'm no stranger to either. Let's say if you look at the projected Warriors lineup tonight, definitely a lot of defense here. Coming off the bench, you got Moses Moody, Kyle Anderson, Looney, Gary Payton. So if you're back in Golden State, you got to like the defense here. And Steph Curry, not a defensive presence. I don't think that comes as a shock to anybody. So losing Steph Curry certainly doesn't hurt the defense. So maybe you just like Golden State to lock down things defensively here. I personally, we're not looking at trends from last year, but if we were, Golden State at home last year was not good. So yeah, I like the Pelicans to get this one done, but just know this is the super square side. All right, let's do college football next. Make sure you guys give Chris and Matt a follow. See you guys tomorrow. You'll both be back tomorrow, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Talk
Cool.
to you later.
See you guys.
Best of luck
Peace.
tonight, fellas.
College football. Someone goes, this line stinks in all caps. All right. First up, New Mexico State. It's down to 7.5 now.
Yeah, I'm curious if that means anything about Jenkins. I haven't seen anything.
No, I think,
Who cares? The same,
I agree. I think that
the same
New Mexico
person.
State could win the game. So
well, I'm on New Mexico State, but I have a 10.
yeah, I know.
If it's above a touchdown, though, I'd still go New Mexico State. If it hits down to, if you only could get a 7, I'd say we missed it. Screw it. But I'm on New Mexico State at +10. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory here. The FIU defense, decent numbers against the pass, although asterisk there. They haven't played a ton of passing attacks this year, FIU. So their numbers against the pass, take them or leave them, maybe a little inflated based on weak opponents. But their numbers against the run, dreadful. This is a bad run defense. We've seen them a couple games in there where they looked somewhat formidable. Actually, a couple games where they looked good against the run, against terrible rushing attacks. New Mexico State started the season off slow. That run game's starting to get going. In the last 4 games, they have really nice rushing numbers. So New Mexico State, an offense that only wants to run the ball. They're not great at it, but by Conference USA standards, they're a decent Conference USA run game. Should be able to get the run going and keep the chains moving in this one. And on the other side, the FIU offense, I mean, just what we were saying, it really comes down to Jenkins. If Jenkins plays so this is if Keon Jenkins plays at quarterback and is 100% healthy, yeah, FIU could win and cover this number. That's how we lose. If Keon Jenkins plays and is 100% healthy. Because when he's on the field, they have a passing attack. New Mexico State defensively has struggled all year. Yeah. But if he plays and isn't healthy, like we saw last week, that was a disaster. They took him out of the game almost immediately. And so let's just say a hobbled Keon Jenkins, FIU looks terrible. Without Keon Jenkins, even worse, maybe. I mean, because the time we've seen from FIU offensively when Keon Jenkins is not on the field, embarrassing. So, like I said, obviously with some of these college football injury reports, we're playing a little bit of chicken, right? I have New Mexico State +10. If Jenkins plays and is fully healthy, you got me. Yeah, you got me. You pulled the rug out from under me. But I think it's more likely based on what we've seen. Because remember, they tried to play him last week. He got injured 2 games ago. Last week, they tried to play Jenkins. They ended up pulling him out of the game because it was so bad. Andy, wasn't he like 1 for 9 or something?
1 for 9.
1 for 9. He looked so bad. So they just tried to play him, still clearly injured last week. Now they're saying like, oh, Jenkins is good to go. Like, I'm like, Oh, is he? Are you sure? Because you told us that last week, and it was a nightmare. So, yeah, I think New Mexico State is able to run the ball, and this should be a close one. Also would lean under, but, yeah, I got New Mexico State at +10, which still played at +7.5, anything above a touchdown.
Yeah, he was also practicing. They said he was practicing yesterday, but I mean, practiced last week too, and he didn't look good. I want to give credit to New Mexico State because up until last week, it was pretty clear their pass defense was awful, right? They had two good games against the pass. One of them was against Southeast Missouri State, and the other one was against Sam Houston, who we know doesn't want to throw. Going into that, they had been blown out by Fresno, New Mexico, Jacksonville State. Those teams had thrown all over them. They finally played a team that wants to throw and that can throw, and they shut them down. I mean, they had 36% success rate, 5.5 yards per attempt. I mean, that was an awful game from Louisiana Tech. Do I expect them to be that good? Not necessarily, but I don't think that FIU compares to the other teams that were able to throw on them. I mean, to be fair, with an unhealthy Jenkins, I would think they're closer to a bad La Tech team. So just kind of playing that from what we just saw from them, and I think it looks good for New Mexico State. Teams get better as the year goes on. That's how football works. So I think that's kind of what's happening with them. They were really, really bad for a long time early in the season. So they're just finding something, and the opposite's happening for FIU. They didn't look. I mean, they did cover against Sam Houston State. Give them credit, but I mean, Sam Houston State was awful in that game with Jace Bauer. So I think they got a little fortunate last week that Hunter Watson didn't play. So I don't think they're going to be that fortunate this week. Granted, New Mexico State's offense isn't good, but I think this is more playing that FIU's offense is god awful. So if you want to look at an under 2, this game might be 10-7. This is going to be an awful football game in terms of from an offensive standpoint. So I think New Mexico State in a low scoring game keeps it close.
How do you know you're hanging out with a bunch of gamblers? Someone said that Scoop's dog barking was a signal to bet the underdog.
It's true.
Scoop goes, yeah, it sounds reasonable.
Yeah, sounds right. First, where do I pick up my trophy? Do I get that from HR or my 100,000?
I got a bunch of them coming in the mail, man.
All right, cool. I'll pick it up. With these midweek games, I've never known as much Conference USA football in my life than I do this year. I don't know if that makes me a better person.
I think it makes us worse people.
Okay. This game's bad, but I think I take New Mexico State here with the points. They actually had a running game last week against Louisiana Tech, who has the best run defense in Conference USA. And really, this is what they should do all game this game. It's legit the only thing they do well. So their pass game's in the bottom 5 in almost every category, and that's something FIU can do well, too, is defend the pass. But, I mean, Parker Awad is so bad. But
we don't even know if it's going to be Awad.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
That's a good point.
They're not especially explosive or anything, but if they stick to their run game, they can definitely take advantage of FIU's run defense. They're 90th in yards per carry, 96th in run efficiency. And same goes for the other side. Stop FIU's run attack like they did LA Tech, and they'll make maybe Keon Jenkins throw the ball. And we all know that Keon Jenkins throwing the ball is a recipe for a disaster for any team. Before he was taken out, he did have a solid QBR, if you're into that, of a 0.6 last game, which is impressive. If they force FIU to third downs, FIU's 26% on third down conversions, one of the worst in the nation. Because, like I said, throwing the ball is a detriment for this FIU team. So even if it's not Keon Jenkins, and even if it is, he's probably not 100%. Like Andy said, this is going to be a brutal offensive game. Both of these teams are in the bottom 5 in terms of offensive ratings, but New Mexico State's running game has gotten going lately, and it's hard to trust an FIU team laying this many points. Even 7.5 is way too much for an FIU team. This team did lose to Monmouth at home and gave UTEP their only win. So I'm going to take New Mexico State in the points.
Yeah, so it's a sweep for New Mexico State. And by the way, DraftKings looks like they dropped to 7. So this line is still plummeting. But let's move on to the next one. And speaking of lines that are gone, last night on YouTube, the video I uploaded, I said I like the over here at 57.5. I'm now seeing a 60. It's for the most part, it's 59.5, but DraftKings now has 60 open. So that 57.5 seems to be long gone. It'll still just be over or pass. I like this kid Wooldridge. I mean, he's on pace to break all the Louisiana school records in terms of passing yards, passing touchdowns. I'm fairly certain he leads the Sun Belt Conference in passer rating. This is not what I was expecting from Louisiana. They were projected to be a good team. I believe they were in terms of odds to win the Sun Belt Conference. I believe they were second best. So behind Appalachian State, which, by the way, has been a hell of a ride, that App State team. So I believe they were one of the favorites to win the conference entering the season. So it's not surprising that the offense is good. It's surprising that they have this dynamic passing attack developing. This kid Woldridge looks so good, and Texas State defensively kind of seems to be, I mean, you rewind a month ago, I would be like, guys, this Texas State defense looks pretty solid. This defensive front recently, I mean, they're struggling a little bit. This is not an elite defense. So I expect Louisiana to be able to move the ball here, mostly through the air, but they can run the ball a little bit too. The problem is, the reason I can't take the Cajuns here, the matchup on the other side is very one-sided. Texas State, a very dangerous offense with Jordan McLeod at quarterback, the transfer from James Madison. What I like about the Texas State offense is they've shown us that they're balanced. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball. They want to throw the ball, but they can run it too, which is what they're going to need to do in this one because Louisiana's defense, a little bit weaker against the run. Texas State should have no problems handing the ball off here. Jordan McLeod could also make some plays through the air. So as much as I would love to take that +4 with the Cajuns, I think they're going to struggle to make stops. So if I was to put a bet down in this game, I would take the over. Well, I would have taken the over at 57.5 last night. It's now at 59.5, making it even more of a pass. But it was over a pass for me last night, and I'll still say over a pass.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't talking about this Louisiana team. They actually have the only undefeated conference record left in the Sun Belt. But the Sun Belt West is stacked up top, so this game is huge for both. I pretty much agree with Kyle here. This game should be a shootout. I'm going to take Texas State because I trust their offense a bit more. I know they've had their share of turnovers, but Jordan McLeod should take advantage of a Louisiana defense who struggled at times, especially third down conversions. They can't get up the field on third downs. Wake Forest, 62% against them. Tulane, 65%. And Texas State is 69% on third downs this season, which is crazy. But Texas State can also get into the backfield, on defense and cause pressure. They actually do lead the Sun Belt in sacks. And so much as Louisiana has done decent on their offensive line, they haven't had a team that causes this much pressure yet this all season. This Texas State team is first in yards per game. They scored at least 28 in 6 of their last 7 games, or all 7 games. And they're coming off a bad Old Dominion loss who shut them down. But McLeod has 25 total touchdowns. He could tuck in a run with nothing down the field. I like the bounce back spot here for Texas State. I would lean the 4, and I would definitely take the over.
What about our truth?
I would take Texas State here. I will say that Texas State, one of the more disappointing teams, in my opinion, this year. They're they're 4-3. Really, their season took a turn when they lost to Sam Houston State. I mean, they were winning that game. What was it, like 40-15 or something, or 39-15 or something like that, and they blew it and they lost 40-39. Pretty much since then, it hasn't felt the same. And it really hit a wall when they lost to ODU last week. That's a game you can't lose. But for ULL, the only problem for them, they're not able to run the ball, and like they try to run the ball more than they throw. They're 50th in run frequency, and they haven't been able to run the ball for 3 weeks now. So that scares me. I think you can't be one-dimensional against a team like Texas State, who they're going to get theirs on offense. Even in their losses, they scored a lot of points even in their losses. So I expect them to be able to score no matter what. So I'm going to lean Texas State. I don't love this one as much as I like New Mexico State, which, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. I like New Mexico State probably the most in a single day. That's crazy. But yeah, I would lean Texas State here. Better quarterback. So I know Woolridge has been really, really good, but young guys in a game like this could be a really tough spot for him.
Appreciate the super chat, EBD. And also, congrats. EBD was the guy who sent in the Bronny under a half point, remember, on the Lakers
Yes,
opener?
he did. And he cashed.
He hit
I
that.
was so mad that night. They didn't let it. It wasn't showing up in any of my sports books. I was so mad.
Oh, I want to say one more thing about this game, because you guys said you lean towards Texas State, and I get why you're leaning that way. Something that would make me hesitate before pulling the trigger, which is why I kind of want to lean the other way, is Texas State so far, we've seen they're the type of team that's in control and is playing a touchdown better than their opponent of the whole game and still find a way to win 28-27, where you're watching the game and you're like, I'm on the right side the whole time. But then Jordan McLeod misses a throw on third down at a key moment. Like, I don't trust him to like execute and finish it. It reminds me a lot of that Arizona State game. The fact that they lost that game was a joke. They were in control, and then they fumbled in their own territory, and they literally they physically fumbled the bag and metaphorically fumbled the bag. I mean, I don't trust them to execute when it counts. Even though they are better and at home, they should win by more than this. I don't trust them to make the play in the key moment late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. They'll find a way to give Louisiana a free possession that blows the cover. So I kind of want to lean the other way, but overpass next game.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you, EVD. You did not have to do that.
Yeah, and congrats on the Bronny under a half point. I thought he was trolling. That actually hit.
It was such gold.
That was
Dude,
that was really nice, honestly.
When he first posted, I thought he was trolling, but no, that bet hit. Bronny under a half point in the opener.
Dude, he still hasn't scored.
Well, he's going to D League now, or G League.
Yeah,
right?
now he's going to the G League.
Next up, La Tech, Sam Houston State, and this is very simple. If someone could tell me right now in the comments, Kyle, I'm standing in the Sam Houston State locker room, Hunter Watson is good to go, I will bet Sam Houston State -10 right now. But unfortunately, we're not going to get information like that. Certainly not information we can trust.
You can get it like 10 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, and even then, I'm like,
Yeah, and then we all know. Yeah.
So you could comb Twitter for it. If Hunter Watson is, I think he's going to play. I think it's confirmed that he's going to play.
Yeah, there's props out for him, so I think he is.
Are the props abnormally low by any chance?
162 passing yards would be absolutely high if you would think about it.
So maybe he's good to go. If
I'm
Hunter,
guessing they're going to play him, so I'm guessing he's good to play if they have props out for him. And people are saying he's not a captain this week, still technically questionable, but that everything seems to point that he's going to play. But also, he could play and get hurt again, and then they are, of any team, maybe in the lower level of college football, they are the only team that they can't afford to lose him, because we've now seen them with Jace Bauer, and it's
FIU
like a
too.
different football team. So
FIU too.
yeah, I guess FIU as well.
But basically, my thoughts on Louisiana Tech are the same that they have been for several weeks. The people got it in their head that this Louisiana Tech team is good. We know. I mean, you were winding 4 or 5 weeks ago, Sonny Cumbie was in talks of being one of the first college football coaches fired this year. He was on the hot seat. Then they played a couple of good games. They racked up some really nice looking stats. And all of a sudden, it was there was an impression that, oh, this Louisiana Tech team is pretty good. They're not very good, especially not on the road. And when Hunter Watson's healthy, that Sam Houston State offense is explosive. They do all kinds of end arounds and all kinds of wild shit. They're just big play after big play. So if Hunter Watson's healthy, I would have no problem laying a double-digit number with Sam Houston State. The problem is, as Andy just said, I mean, Hunter Watson, not only the quarterback, he's also the leading rusher. So, I mean, without Hunter Watson, this Sam Houston State, I mean, we just saw it last game. They won 10-7 on the road at FIU. That was a mess of a game. I mean, FIU was terrible, and Sam Houston State had to sweat it out. So this dangerous Sam Houston State offense without Hunter Watson isn't very dangerous. And it's very because always in when you're sports betting, one person moving the line like a full touchdown, you're like, oh no, that's an overreaction. In this case, he might be worth a full touchdown to the line. So you could put Sam Houston State minus the points for me, but there's no way I bet it unless someone could send me a text from the Sam Houston State locker room confirming that he's good to go. He went through warmups and looks great. So.
I need a video of him telling us he's gonna play, and then I need the coach confirming it. So those are the two things I would need. Like, no, I would.
Hold on. Someone said it says on Twitter. Okay, it says on Twitter, Hunter Watson was not named captain, and his backup was named captain, meaning he could be potentially ruled out the last minute.
Jace Bauer. Was
yeah. See, I'm glad I didn't place that bet because if I saw that tweet holding a ticket, I would be pissed.
Yeah, I would still. I mean, you can still put it up for me. I'm still gonna lean him. Look, like you said, if Watson plays, I love him. If he doesn't play, it's probably not gonna hit. I mean, to be fair, La Tech this year hasn't. They've been great statistically on defense, and we've been saying it for weeks that they're great statistically, but they haven't played anybody. Well, this feels like another situation where they're dodging a good offense, and it's unfortunate. I would still, but Sam Houston State, I've been very clear. I like them a lot. Maybe Jace Bauer gets more comfortable. I don't know. He looked he's looked terrible to this point. So I can't believe that going from the MAC to the Conference USA is seemingly breaking him. And it's a step up for him. I don't know how that went, but yeah, he hasn't looked great. But I think if Watson plays, they should blow them out. They should have won. If Watson played last week, they probably would only game 41-10. 41-7 or whatever it was. So give me
FIU played well defensively, but yeah, Jace Bauer does not look right in there. He was better at he was like you said, he was better at Central Michigan, which is like
it doesn't make any sense to me.
He was better as a freshman in a tougher conference. How does that?
No idea how that happened.
Scoop.
Yeah. Listen, I've seen how Sam Houston runs without Hunter Watson, and I want no part of that. If Hunter Watson is playing, I would totally lay this number. The fact of the matter is, Hunter Watson, when he plays in the game, they're scoring 30 plus every game, and without him, they're not even eclipsing 20 points. Hunter Watson is legit one of the best conference USA quarterbacks there is this year. He's an awesome dual threat quarterback. I mean, like Andy or one of you, Kyle, said that he is leading the team in rushing yards, and with him running the ball and with an arm, DJ McKinney and Ducker has a ton of running room too. So I know La Tech is a quality defense, especially the rush defense. They've only been giving up a little over 3 yards to carry, but they did just allow New Mexico State to run for 3 touchdowns. They're not a great team whatsoever. We just talked about them, but yeah, listen, LA Tech has Evan Bullock, which has been great for them. Way better quarterback than they had in the beginning of the year, Turner or Baker. But the problem is they have absolutely no run game. Look what they did against UTEP last game. They had a net rushing yard of 7 throughout the whole game, and that's against UTEP. So as much as Bullock has been great and has no picks this year, he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. Sam Houston is already a solid run defense, so they'll focus on the pass game. They have 14 turnovers from this defense already. Not to mention LA Tech isn't protecting Bullock. They're giving up a bunch of sacks the last 4 games. Sam Houston can definitely get through to this line. I think they have 25 in the last 5. So yeah, I mean, if Watson plays, there should be a double-digit win for Sam Houston. If he doesn't play, I mean, I would think Sam Houston could still run on this team, but I wouldn't put my money on that. But yeah, I would. I'm actually going to bet this game if Watson plays, but I'm not. You won't know that until 5 minutes before the game, and I would caution that anyway, because even if they say he's starting, that could mean he's 110% and is going to score 6 touchdowns, or he has 1 leg basically.
I wonder if Watson plays and comes out on the first drive, looks good, they go right down the field 7-0. I wonder if we can get like a live minus 13.5 or something.
Dude, it's just college injury reports are the worst.
Yeah,
man. Basketball and football are terrible. So
I think it's getting better in basketball. I think they did something to make it better.
All right, let's hit the song Community Parlay. By the way, that won yesterday. The community hit again yesterday.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay, yeah.
Do we have an underdog today?
No. I don't think Andy had one, and
I don't think I did one.
I don't have stuff for the
No worries,
NBA
I'll
yet.
do the community parlay. All right, so we have. I guess we'll put Dodgers money line in there. I like the Dodgers. They like Timberwolves. They like. They like the Nets. The Nets won that poll, and then they like the Kings. So what we'll do is first and second place from this poll will make it. First and second place.
There you go.
Yeah, the community, it's red hot. These bets are not supposed to be positive value bets, but they keep hitting. The community has just got the hot hand right now.
This is like Ronnie Discord bets. Have you seen some of them that he's been posting?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
He's hitting them.
I know he's hitting them. What the hell? All right. It looks like it's going to be Dodgers and T-Wolves. I'll give it 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dodgers money line, Timberwolves money line are the first 2 legs, and the second 2 legs will go with Pelicans money line, and then we'll do the college football games. We'll do the first game is they like New Mexico State. New Mexico State money line. The second game is what the heck? They like Texas State. And then the third game is Sam Houston State. All right, so the first and second place will finish out the community parlay. First and second place of this poll.
Also, I'm a D-backs fan now. I'm not a Yankees fan.
Of all the teams to pick, why wouldn't you pick Grimace?
Can't be a Mets fan.
A team that made the playoffs, maybe.
A team that has hope. Hey, someone said congratulations on 100. Oh, it's Tinker. Tinker, you listen to my advice. You take a Michigan State money line Saturday. Sparty money line, Tinker.
Told you guys about Michigan. Didn't
I'm
trust
waiting on the Rourke news. If he's officially active, I feel like that's gonna go up.
Yeah. Well, Sparty money line. Tinker's gonna be in shambles.
All I know is this was 2 weeks in a row. I was positive in college about football, so this is a new day.
Dude, I got three winning. I'm going for 4.
You're beating me.
That's all.
For those of you that don't know the jokes we're telling to Tinker right now, he's a diehard Indiana Hoosiers fan. He lives in Indiana, so he doesn't get many W's as a Hoosier fan. So
Usually they're focused on basketball now.
Yeah, but
we're really testing our luck here, community.
Are you kidding?
Oh
my God! The community is really This is what we refer to as a heat check. The community seeing how hot they are. Plus, all right, I'm tailing it. God
I'm
damn
gonna do it too.
If the community's this hot,
I think the Dodgers win tonight as well.
it's not. This is not a good bet. But the
Tonight,
community keeps
Muncie's
hitting
hitting a home
bets.
run too. I don't know if
Do you think people will understand the last one is New Mexico State?
Yeah.
You think that's clear enough?
Oh yeah.
And what else can it be?
Yeah, what else would it be?
I don't know. New Mass State.
There you go.
Oh,
Northern Massachusetts State.
Yeah.
Do
Northern
they play Division 3?
Northern Mass, bro. Northern Mass.
Love Northern Mass.
All right, so then we got NBA, we got T-Wolves, Pelicans, and then we got New Mexico State. Oh God, this is community.
This is beautiful.
This is beautiful. I got plus 1936 on FanDuel, by the way.
Oh my lordy! All right, DraftKings is shafting us.
All right, I placed the community parlay. Plus 1736 is a home run swing, guys. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll be back same time tomorrow. Scoop won't be here tomorrow, but he'll be back Thursday. Tomorrow, same as always, college football, NBA. Big NBA game, NBA night tomorrow. So I'll be looking tonight to find some spots. So NBA, college football tomorrow. I like Liberty. Just saying. I like Liberty tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for 100,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. Love doing these shows. Love making these videos. Truly, it's my life's work, and I'm happy to do it. And I'm truly grateful you guys take the time out of your day to watch. Truly. Everyone, have a good